what would I be doing on like a day-to-day basis?
It's not you only, it's me as well. Like, I'm not now only a son, I'm a husband also now.
This guy needs to learn the law of telling the truth. And that is his biggest issue. Telling the truth is not one of his best traits.
What does that mean?
That means just scheduling the day-to-day things. Like what, suppose, because basically,
the fact that he can't even answer the question with a straight face says it all. You know, and she's giggling as well, and she knows it, but she's like, hurry the fudge up and tell me.
for the women, they do things differently. Like they wake up early in the morning, they do the housework, they clean the house, but the food also. Yeah, and you are not like that.
No, that's just for the birds.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting how he says, but you are not like that? I wonder why he said, but you are not like that. Where does that come from? Is that because you have a certain concern of, I don't know?
Well, one thing for sure is just like it would be like a regulated thing to like you and mom, because you will be making this food at this time, and we will be doing dishes on that particular day, or you are doing dishes on that day.
That seems like way too scheduled to me.
Isn't it fascinating though, right? How he's trying to basically articulate his words in a way where it's acceptable for her. I really want to know, what is the benefit of him marrying an American woman? To be honest, it's not even about Kimberly at this point. Just a woman that is not a part of this culture and isn't necessarily going to follow in line, basically.
We've never talked about this stuff?
I'm just giving you an example. That's how it could be.
Okay.
Well, the reality is that, well, you've never spoken about this stuff. That is the reality, and that is the biggest issue. The fact that you've never spoken about this stuff is why you are in this predicament, and that is not a good thing. Okay? If anything, Kimberly should have definitely brought up this conversation at some point. But the issue that she would have had is that even if she had brought this up, would you have told the absolute truth? Because like I said before, when it comes to telling the truth, well, TJ seems to wanna, well, let's just say,
Okay.
When she asked about my expectation of my mom and dad, I can't tell Kimberly everything.
and there we go. Man cannot tell her everything. And why can't you do that, please?
Because she is worried about living at my home. Like, I'm trying not to make her very fearful about this relationship.
And the idiot award goes to, you know exactly who is this fool. How does he think that having a relationship based on not being 100% transparent with your partner is going to secure a happy marriage? He's already seen how she's reacted to certain things before they're even married. And he thinks what? Just because they're married, she's then going to fall in line. And let's not forget, there are many people in this world that they think, once I'm married to you, I cannot control the hell out of you. Once I'm married to you, there is no getting away from me. And that is a thing, you know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying that he's one of those people, but at the end of the day, the way he's moving is unacceptable. Why is he so hell-bent on marrying this woman, given the fact that he does not want to be 100% authentic with her at any given time? And then he gets surprised when she acts out and starts going crazy like a freaking crazy person. You know what I'm saying? Where is the benefit? Tell us, TJ, where is the benefit of not being 100 at this moment in time? So, why are you so afraid of her leaving you? That is the question. Oh, my days.
I think she is not in a mood to talk about these things. I presume that it could be a backfire. She might say to me, why didn't you tell me everything? But it's...
You know when he says literally, why didn't you tell me everything? Do I even need to elaborate on that? On why she would say, why didn't you tell me everything? Like, come on.
It's a need of the time. We both love each other. We wanted to get married. So get married first. Don't talk about the responsibilities, what you're doing.
Can somebody please translate what the hell is going on here? How can you tell me we get married first and then talk about the responsibilities and everything that we're doing? In what world does that make sense at all?
There's nothing to share. Because the thing is, you've already been here for 1 year. You see how my home works, but you never lived exactly what 7 days in a stretch. So it looks like it changed like a heart.
If it was me personally, I'd be running real quick. But at the same time though, why is Kimberly so hell-bent to marrying this man? And listen, she cannot tell me that she's not oblivious to the fact that he's not always telling the full truth. If you ask someone a question, and when you ask them the question, their answer starts off with but, and then somewhere down the line in that answer, it's you know, and then somewhere down the answer, there's a long story to the answer. Those 3 factors alone happening in one event, in one question, that tells you that this person is not being legit. He's done all those three things in one. It would have been different if he was but on a different question, and he was on another question, and then in a circle on another question. Now, of course, I'm not saying that that means he's telling the truth. That is still saying the same thing, but it'd be harder to kind of see the picture, right? But the picture's right in front of you. How are you not seeing this? But don't get it twisted though. Sometimes people do crack under pressure, and sometimes when people do, you know, laugh or giggle or whatever, sometimes it's not because they're gonna lie. They have the intention to tell the truth, but you know, but again, that's different circumstances, and I'm pretty sure that's something that if you're with someone, you'd be able to, you know, differentiate the two. You see what I'm saying? But we're in a situation here where it is abundantly clear that he's not being authentic with you. And she wonders why she's always losing her mind. I mean, look, let's go back to the first week. You know, when she lost her mind, the first week when she arrived in India, right? And the house wasn't done to the standard she wanted to. And she was completely, she had a whole hissy fit about how she wasn't heard. Okay, cool. So you know you wasn't heard. So that's already giving indication that his listening skills to you, or at least his consideration to your wants, clearly not there as much as you'd want him to be. That's a red flag number one. Whether she's in the right or wrong in the situation, the fact that you wasn't listened to and it was that much of a nuisance to you, that's a red flag to you, right? It should be, okay? It should be a concern to you. And then obviously we went to the following week, okay, where they have another argument, you know? Now obviously it does get diffused a little bit, but not that much because we had to wait until this week for it to be fully diffused. When the painting is in front of you, when the writing is on the wall. Like honestly, somebody please tell me, have you cracked the code yet why these two are still together? I really want to know why they're still together. Because none of it makes sense. Their relationship is just completely shambolic. Pure nonsense. Mess me with the BS, man. Mess me with the freaking BS. And then also on top of that, let's not forget this one thing that she also had an issue with beforehand.
You reacted, and my family is very tense about that. Just gives a bad impression to everybody.
Now, we already know that this is something that she did not want to happen. One of the reasons why she does not want to live with him is because of the family being able to hear whenever they have a dispute.
What's going to happen with the marriage if you're doing this? And I don't know what Yosh is feeling right now.
Well, truly, it wasn't their business to begin with. It's just...
I mean, in reality, she has every right to say exactly what she's saying. I agree. I completely agree. But when you're living underneath someone's roof, well...
between you and me.
No, that's the business of a mom and dad. What happened with his son?
That's my issue. Because it's marriage between you and me.
Okay,
but that's
so
why I have issues living with him.
I mean, listen. At the end of the day, what is the point of marrying someone if they're going to live with their family and their family's going to get involved in all your personal business? Then therefore, you're no longer married to that person, you're married to the family. And this is something that Kimberly needs to process here. She's not marrying this man. She's marrying the family. And then once you marry the family, you must fall in line with what the family requires. And if you want to leave, I don't know how that works. I don't know if that's hard a thing. I really don't know what the opposites are of leaving a relationship in, in a family like his. Really couldn't tell you this. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. You know what I mean? And that's another thing that she needs to really do better at understanding and researching. Definitely, her research definitely shouldn't be based on what he says. Her research should be based on her looking at her own research. You see what I'm saying? Finding out, okay, how are things going to work? Because obviously this guy has no ability of telling the full truth, not at least in one hit.
I feel like we should be able to have our own fights and not have your family involved.
CJ saying that his whole family is upset, it worries me because the fact that they're now getting involved is just...
To be honest with you, lady, you can be upset all you like. But you said it before you flew there. You said it again once you flew there, and you're saying it again now. That living with his family just isn't going to work for you. But yet you're still going to go do it. That's why I'm still sitting and thinking, I still don't understand why these two are together, why they're going to fall through with this. Their ideas of their relationship are so far apart, it's like, wow. Huh. Is it that hard to find a man in America that you got to go all the way to India to find a man that is still going to put you for a headache? Is it that hard for him to find a woman in India that is going to go and find a woman from the United States instead and then put her through the headache? Like, what the hell is going on here, man? Make this make sense. The idiocy. But anyway, with that being said, you guys let me know what you're thinking down below. We'll talk about it. Don't forget to like, sub, and of course, peace.